Oh, there we go. Fine. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, every gorgeous person out there. Welcome to the show. I am your host tonight, Virtual Lily, and today, basically what we're going to do is we're going to go through the process of making your own world in VRChat. Typically using assets that you can buy on Booth. So if you're sat there like wanting to make your own world, but you're not like wanting to make it all the modeling and all that kind of thing, you can get tons of really cool assets on Booth. Essentially what you can do, you just pay like $40 or a little bit more and you can get your whole asset, and it's pretty much mostly set up for you. So we can go through that, and we can also add some extra little gimmicks that we can have as well. So I'll show you how all that works, as well as run you through some of the basics of like lighting and kind of give a demo of what we're going to be going through in our lessons in future videos going forward. And I'll also link all of those in the description down below, as well as any time cards for lessons that you might need for like materials or textures and stuff like that. We'll get into later on, as we go along. So thank you very much, and let's get into things. So first things first, you're gonna have to want to find out what kind of world you want to build. So essentially the asset that we're going to be using today is the apartment for VRChat that is designed by MGR, and it's a cute little asset. It's nice and easy. About 4,000 JPY. You can get this on Booth. Nice, easy, and it's pretty nice. It looks very delicious. We can get some really good lighting. So yeah, we're gonna set this up, and I'm gonna show you how to do all of that as well. And we're gonna add a bunch of other things as well, such as we also have maybe if you want to add some DJ gear. We got some stuff from Soon and Moo. If you want to be adding like some coffee stuff as well, we got some stuff from Mini Green, which I do absolutely love all of these assets. So I'll show you how all this works and how to put all this together if you're looking to just get some extra little gimmicks for your world as well. So let's go. So first things first, you want to go to so if you're a first time on VRChat and you don't know exactly how to set up your projects and all this kind of thing, first things what you do is you want to download the Creator Companion. This is a little application that can really helpful for getting certain assets, as well as setting up your worlds for you in a very easy, simple way. So just download this thing, and you'll have this lovely little application that can help you with all your projects. It'll also help you how to download Unity, which will be 2019. Lily put the version right here because I can't remember right now. Thank you, future Lily. She's good. She's good on future building the editing. Thank you very much. It's great. Anyway. So once you kind of gotten all this set up, what you want to do is make sure it's all updated and all this kind of thing. I haven't updated mine because I am slow like this, but anyway, we're going to press on regardless. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new project, yes, and on this new project, I want to pick where I want it to go. I'm going to put it into my apartment demo folder, which we're going to be using quite a lot today. And I'm just going to do this, the VirtuApartment demo. And it is going to be a U# because typically the assets that we'll be using U# as kind of like its main programming. You don't really necessarily need to understand this, because I don't understand U#. I don't understand coding. You can get a long way without it, but you do necessarily need to click the buttons. The buttons are important, trust me. Do as I do, not as I say, because I do not know what I say. Anyway, click U# and you want to create your project. All good. All right, sweet. So once that's all done, is created the project for you, you can now add in a bunch of really cool stuff, both from the curated as well as the community. Particularly here, I have the Now, typically, I want to have pretty much everything that I have in my list here. So, as we can see here, let's switch over. We have Easy Quest Switch, which is really, yeah, obviously helps with quest compatibility. I'm not going to go into that too much. We'll see how we go on later on down the line if I want to go into it, but we'll have it in there regardless. VR World Toolkit, absolutely, this is essential. This tool saves so many lives. It genuinely does. And then we want the client simulator, audio link, of course, because we like everything all like, you know, audio link if you want your music stuff and all kind of fun things. And typically most things also now require it as a prefab, so we do typically have audio link as well. Cyan trigger as well is very useful for beginners of triggers and stuff like this. If you want to open doors, animations, it's very useful for like very good beginners. And also I'm going to be adding in the LTCGI. Now, what you'll know, brain, so close. Anyway, so what you notice is I have both curated, which will come automatically with this this whole application, but also there's community applications as well. Basically, these are like repos that you can sort of like bring into your project, and what a repo is, it's essentially like a file from GitHub, or like it's another server essentially that holds all these files, and this application is able to pull those files in as they're updated, so you don't necessarily have to keep downloading the same files over and over again. This application sort of manages that for you in a sort of technical coder magic wibbly wobbly woo way. No, but seriously, it's quite clever how it is, but you'll be learning a lot of these terms and these sites as you go along. So let's find out where you can find some of these. Typically you'll find a lot of these on the VRC prefabs documentation. This is probably the most essential documentation that you'll need as a world builder, and a lot of us use it as well. This is curated by obviously the VRC prefabs group as well, and it is genuine. Like these people, I cannot thank them enough for their amazing work. But yeah, you can get Cyan Trigger, you can get LTCGI, a bunch of other things as well. Some things are already a part of the package, so you don't necessarily need to download things on the must-have. Cyan Trigger is definitely one, so you can obviously click the link just about here, and then it'll just go boom straight over to where you necessarily need it. But yeah. But we'll be necessarily going into the Udon Prefabs SDK 3. Now, SDK 3 is important, because that's currently so SDK means Software Development Kit. And this is the third version that VRChat has released. Now, currently worlds and projects are mostly supported and built for this version. SDK 2 is no longer, it's deprecated, so it no longer is supported. So obviously, like, try and stick around with SDK 3. Don't let SDK 2 or SDK 3 touch each other. They touch each other, everything explodes, and it's not the greatest thing. Trust me. But anyway, as we go. But yeah, you can sort of like go down here and like there's a bunch of like fun things, gimmicks, cool tools. You'll also find some very useful things, such as the shaders. Now this is probably where you're gonna find things such as This is where you're gonna find things such as Silence filamented, Orel shaders, and a bunch of others as well, which is really, really useful, especially if you're using like LTCGI, if you're using like audio link stuff. There's tons of really cool stuff around here, so do have a look-sees. And it will also reference you to like a bunch of their pages and stuff like that. Do help support these creators, because they do a lot of this, out of the kindness of their heart. So help out where we can. I'll post all the links and stuff all this down below as well. So yeah, do have a look-see for all of this. But anyway, but for us, essentially, so when we're going back to our packages, as you can notice, we have like these community things. What we can do now is essentially like you can either like download like through the Unity package itself here, which is pretty, yeah, you can find it that way, or you can find it on the VCC listing. Essentially, when you go to the VCC listing, this is probably the best way to get things now. You essentially just click add to VCC, and this will hopefully open up your project and add that in. Quick way for us to do this with LTCGI. Let's have a look-see. Where are you? All right, create a companion and VPM install. So I'm gonna just click here, add to VCC, open up the create a companion. It'll do a bunch of things. I understand, and it'll add this repository for me. So click, normally this will add it for you. For some reason, it's not doing it for me because I'm special and I am scuffed. But this would normally work for you. But if it doesn't work for you, there is a way to get around this, and I'll show you how to get around this because I have to figure this out as well. So I'll show you how to get around a bunch of other things as well. The scuff is amazing. It's great. I fuse Lego bricks together with pure friction. It's amazing. Anyway, let's go. So yeah, whatever. Okay, cool. Whatever. Have fun. If anybody does have the answer to why I have this problem, let me know. I would love the answer. But if not, it's not a problem. Our project. So yeah, we're gonna add all this kind of fun stuff. And yeah, if you can add it through the VCC, that's amazing. If not, I'll show you how to add things through GitHub repository. But typically, the most easiest way to add things to the project is you just pretty much hit all the plus signs as much as you can, and then you're like, all right, cool. Open up that project. Just go throw it out. Let's go. Like, that's the thing with my world building. You'll find there's a flow to it which you can definitely explore and make your own like ways and versions and styles of doing things. So I do like absolutely implore you to explore and have a look see at what you can do. Funky colors, cool lighting, and I don't know, audioing through the coffee for some reason, which I'll show you how to do. But yeah. Anyway, welcome to the next hell, where we're going to be basically staring at. I can't move this fucking. All right. Well, now we're gonna be in hell, where basically we're gonna be sat here for a while waiting for this project to open. So we'll BRB. Now, earlier on, you should have got a pop-up that said something about making a backup. Just click the yes, I made a backup, and go ahead. It's pretty standard when it comes to the VRChat SDK and how all of that works as well. So yes, as long as we're now working with the VRChat SDK as well as the VRChat Critic Companion in Unity 2019.431 F1, we should all be good. Now, first things first, I'm pretty sure you're excited to get your world into Unity and have a look at it and start touring around with colors and stuff like that. Well, I'm sad to disappoint, but no, that's not how this works, unfortunately. We're gonna start with the most brutal process of world building, and that is assets and getting them all in, which kinda sucks. So, here we go. Alright, so first things first you want to start with is you want to start with the VR World Toolkit. Now this is actually your bread and butter for pretty much your entire development. You want to have the world debugger, so you want to click this thing, and typically it'll pop up a little window here. Now I have now I'm using two screens. So I like split them between each other so that way I kind of like, you know, have all the things necessary as needed. And this will give you all the necessary information to tell you what's going on with your world. Right now there's no scene descriptor, yeah, so it needs a scene descriptor. So how we're gonna find that? Now this is how I do it. I simply go to click on packages. I click on here and I just go, you know, I just type in the word world. Make sure you're searching in packages. Now this is so this tab here is what we call the project tab. This is the project folder. And this is where you can search your assets and your packages and all kind of things. When searching, you want to make sure you're either looking in assets or the folder that you're looking in or packages. Packages are a little bit different from assets as they work inside of the editor. And what we call the editor is basically the entirety of the window that you see in Unity. So yeah. So here we're just gonna go like, all right, cool, nice. There's VRC SDK world, and there is VRC world. So this is the one that you're going to want to be typically using. So it'll have the VRC scene descriptor for you, as well as jump and moving variables and all kind of thing, which is pretty funky. And it's also got the new avatar scaling. This is something I actually haven't played with, so we're going to discover this as we go along. So yeah, here we go. Don't make me. Anyway, so typically how the works is this is what we call a prefab. Anything like that looks like this is typically just like a prefab, or like anything you find like here is, you know, it's prefabricated for you. So when we take this, we just simply click and drag, and I'm going to put this at the very top of the hierarchy. Hierarchy is this tab here. I have this on my right side here, and this is basically, yeah, it basically has where all things will be listed as game objects. Every single thing that is here, these are called game objects. So we have a VRC world game object, main camera object, and a directional light object. We'll mess around with these later on, but don't worry about that. But I'm just simply explaining some of the terminology. Anyway, so now that we have the VRC world, we can now go back to our world debugger. So now it'll basically refresh itself. And if it doesn't, it'll have a tab that'll say refresh for you. So click that and it'll let you know what's going on. So there's no reference camera for scene descriptor. So yeah, all right, no worries. Spawn point doesn't have a collider underneath it, which is very important because otherwise you'll fall through the world and all this kind of stuff. This is where we're now realizing things are working. Okay, cool. So first things first, what we're gonna do is actually we're gonna click on Real World Toolkit up here. I'm gonna click on post-processing, and you want to set up that post-processing. This will do this magic for you. If you just hit that OK button, it'll change a couple things how they look. This will affect things such as bloom, how lighting works, how tone and color, grain, all this kind of thing also works for you. So so this is all set up for you, all done. And as you go back to your World Toolkit, this should now you know, have its reference camera all set up, all that kind of stuff as well. It's also complaining about like this reference camera is 0.3 and all this kind of thing. Typically, like I like to actually have it at 0.01. Just cause like I like people to be as like physically close as possible when they're like, you know, putting their hand. Is what this means is that clipping. What we mean by clipping is when the camera stops rendering and it kind of like looks like is cutting a mesh that's coming towards you, like before actually like, you know, it actually touches you. If you have it very close, then it feels like it's actually coming towards you, and it's like, you know, it stops rendering when it does eventually hit the camera, i.e. your face or the VR headset that you're wearing. But yeah. Anyway, so that's now all set up. And now we're pretty good on this front here. So I now want to start getting in a couple of other assets. Now, so, 'cause, like, I like people to be as like physically close as possible when they're like, you know, putting their hand. If you have it very close, then it feels like it's actually coming towards you. If you have it very close, then it feels like it's actually coming towards you, and it's like, you know, it stops rendering when it does eventually hit the camera, i.e. your face or the VR headset that you're wearing. But first off, let's get out and let's get our world into here, shall we? Let's have a look-see. Let's see what we got. So we're pretty much like all set here. We're all done. We're in our assets and we're all ready to go and Gucci. So let's add in our world. So I've already downloaded this this bad boy, the apartment SDK3. Here we are. Here we go. We're good. And I'm basically when you download these packages, they'll come in like a zip folder, and then when you open them up, they'll have a Unity package. Just simply double click this. Just double click that mother. All right, cool. And right, it'll give you this whole list of like stuff. This is stuff. Just import that. Import that stuff. Easy peasy. Sometimes things just don't like work straight off the bat because of just like something just isn't quite, I don't know, clicking inside of like, I don't know, the SDK or stuff like this or prefabs. So we can always get there through that and find out what's going on. Okay, cool. Also, so yeah, basically I just hit the back arrow here. And yeah, so when you probably open up your project and there's a bunch of like red stuff, all this kind of stuff over here in what we call the console. Now in this tab here, you'll have like a clear button. Hit this button. If there's nothing there, you're good. That's all you need to think about. But essentially, the console will give you what we call errors. And if there is something that doesn't clear, it'll tell you, and typically it will tell you in alphabetical order. If something is broken, or not working in basically in alphabetical order, Unity won't load anything after that point. So typically things like VRChat or the VRChat SDK won't work if something is broken with something starting with a letter before V, if that makes sense. But typically, you don't have to worry about that. If you hit clear, you're good. You're fine. Go to town. I'm fine. Let's see what we got. Anyway. So, we now have a new file called MGR. We're gonna have a look-see what's in here. VRC starter kit. Okay, cool. Apartment. Let's have a look-see what we got. We got scene. We got textures. Apartment profile animations. Prefab. Oh, I got the okay, cool. So typically you want to go into like what we have the prefab. And all this kind of thing as well. You could also have a look at the scene. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to grab this scene. I'm just going to drag it into the hierarchy. Just bada bing, bada bip, and it should do some magic. Hey, look at this. And this is the world pretty much entirely set up for you. And it's got its own lighting, it's got it's got its own light probes. This thing is pretty set and good to go, if anything. I'm not gonna lie with you. So if you want to use this, let's go ahead and use this. This will, this is really, yeah, we'll go ahead and use it. We'll probably convert some of these things, like some of the lighting for things such as bakery and all this kind of thing. I'll show you how it works. We can also change some of the materials, as well as like just a little bit of a spruce up. We're gonna have a look and see what we do with this. But yeah, so yeah, we're just gonna use this scene. If you don't typically want to use a scene straight off the bat, you can also like just use the prefab, which you go into the prefab folder and just like drag and drop that and just put that in there. And then yeah, I'm just gonna quickly just hide this scene entirely. But yeah, this will just hide this. This is just the full model prefabricated for you with all its materials, but none of the lighting and all that kind of stuff. So to be fair, we're just gonna actually use the scene. So I was gonna grab all of this world info advanced. Just have a look see. Let's have a look see at all this quickly. VRC world info. Impulse. Okay, so this one's pretty useful for like movements and all kind of thing as well. Has like a couple scripts. So yeah, we'll actually probably use most of all of this as well. So let's have a look see. VRC world. Let's have a look see. All right, so we're just gonna Shift, Control, and I'm just gonna bring this entire scene into our own. You can, and then I'm just gonna just simply delete the scene, but I'm not gonna save that one. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove the scene and don't save it. And then I'm going to save our scene, and I'm going to put in our, just basically here, and I'm gonna call this apartment demo. Boom. Alright, sweet. So, we're good, and I'm still recording. Make sure you're all recording, y'all. Okay, cool. So we're pretty much like in a good position as it speaks. We have all of our, we have everything necessary. To be fair, I'm probably gonna just actually just double check all of the stuff. Light probes, turn you off. Alright, so what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to delete pretty much most of all of our stuff that we had before. But that's mostly stuff that you have usually for mostly for things set up. But this world already has things set up for you. So we're pretty much just going to use this straight off the bat, which is really, really nice. This thing has like all the post-processing, all this kind of stuff as well. Always double check your VRC world toolkit just to make sure. Material water, scene is not a broken shader. That's fine. We can always fix this later on going down the line. But look at this, we're all good. Anyway. So, here we go, and let's have a look and see what we have around here. So we have some lighting. So as you probably notice, as we've done this, you'll notice like there's no more of that lighting that was done before. None of the actual like some of the cones and all this kind of thing, none of the reflections. And that's because we no longer have our lighting data. That was actually in the previous scene. I will be going over how lighting works, but typically we'll actually want to be getting rid of our light big here, and probably changing some of these things up and how this works. I'll be showing you how to do this with bakery instead, and how to set up things as well as like we can tweak a couple of things as well. Like maybe we can personalize this a little bit as well. Yeah. So first things first, what I want you to do is I want you to go to the lighting tab over here, and then there's a little drop down window here, next to generate lighting. Hit clear big data. That will get rid of like some of the weird like little ping pong balls that you saw around you. Make sure auto generate is turned off. Make sure that the auto generate is turned off, and yeah, it should all be good. We'll get into some of the settings and all this kind of stuff, but this is a lot of like numbers and stuff that is very terrifying. I understand. I'll teach you how all this kind of works later on, but let's carry on. So I'm gonna go into our inspector. If you don't have any of these tabs up here, you can also go into window and have a look in either general, rendering, animation, all this kind of stuff. It will give you all the tabs necessary, and you can pop them where you need them. Right, so let's have a look-see and see what we do. So we have our world info, all this kind of stuff as well. This has our VirtuApartment world stuff, such as jump impulse, all this kind of stuff. Some of the modifications for movement, audio limits, all that kind of stuff. This is going to be quite nice actually, so we'll have a look at it. The reference camera for all of our post-processing. So what post-processing is essentially, you see where the light itself from this lamp is sort of like bleeding outwards, like it has like this like really nice glow to it. This glow is post-processing. That is what we call bloom. That is like where it bleeds out a little bit. So let's have a look-sees here. So in this post-processing, it has a bunch of really nice stuff actually. So let's have a look-sees. I'm just kind of pointing this out. I have some missing prefabs for odd reason, but it should not be a problem. As we go through things, we can always remove the stuff and like add stuff. I think this is mostly just like some TV stuff, so shouldn't be too much of a worries. All right. So, here we are going to have a quick look at what our post-processing is, just to sort of have like a little bit of explanation for it. We'll definitely have a video for that, but basically, for here, if you want to like have a tweak of what the sort of like how things look, yeah, this is where it'll be. So if you want to have a look at bloom, go to intensity here and just like crank the thing up, like, you know, this is gonna be a lot of fun. This is what we call this is slushy levels of bloom. But yeah, no, typically, like, yeah, I would have this around points, I would say about 0.6, 0.5. 0.5 is pretty good, but I'm gonna go 0.6 here because reasons. But yeah, and you can also like change the color grading as well if you want things like to have a certain look to it. Post different type of effects and all this kind of thing. You can also change how like sort of like the color grading is. So this is like for the various different types of lighting. But I'm going to choose ACs because I think it looks nice typically. But yeah, you can also like add on like a bunch of things like colors, greens, all this kind of thing, different various effects. But you know what? I'm gonna keep it around about this levels, and we're just going to do things through the lighting and all that kind of thing. All right. Also, if you want to know how I'm moving around, like with my like camera like this, sort of like as like a moving around as a camera, I'm holding the right mouse button and I'm just using WASD, E, and Q just to sort of like fly around type situation. It's a lot easier than sort of like having to do the mouse wheel, which most people would do, and then the whole thing. This yeah. No, we ain't about that anymore. We're all about the flying camera mode. Anyway. So yeah, let's get ourselves set up, shall we? So now that we have our world kind of like in here, let's start messing around with what we want to start getting into, like adding gimmicks, adding some cool toys and all this kind of stuff as well, and basically having like a bit of a walk around. So first things first you want to check is make sure that the world itself is going to be ready for what we want to do with it. So what we want to do is click on the structure, like all this kind of stuff, like your apartment old, some of the furniture, props, colliders, all this kind of stuff as well. So structure, I'm going to have this set as, let's double check. All right, it's gonna have you set as static. Thank you very much. So what we're gonna do here is we're now going to essentially make sure that our world is gonna be ready for our light bakes, as well as prepping it for the Unity rendering on VRChat side. So when you make something static, it basically, you're telling it, this thing is not moving. You're telling Unity, this thing is not needing to be rendered or moved around. It is staying in its place, and it is not, just make it stay. It's stuck. Yeah, stop it, you fucking bitch. Where the fuck? As you do this, you'll probably notice your world toolkit might scream at you. We'll have a look at what the script says today. Shut up, Lenny. So it'll scream to you about like 24 like big messages and all kind of thing about the sort of like bloom intensity. You can have some fun with this, whatever. That's not too bad. But yeah, okay. So like, you know, you can always have a check and see what's going on. Right, let's have a look at our mesh first. So what do I mean by mesh is basically everything that you're going to find pretty much here in the models. So what I did is I just clicked on, like, you can just click on an object, or you can click something in the hierarchy, and then you can click on the mesh filter. You can just click on here, and then it'll give you this sort of this big list. And here it's all basically compacted in the structure FBX. FBX. So what this is essentially, an FBX is a model, and it has a bunch of like parts to it that can also be moved and like messed around with. But for us here, we just simply have to click on the FBX part. Make sure that you don't have anything clicked on in here. This part here, you don't need to worry about too much. Simply click on the, like here we're gonna go to models. This is found also in assets, MGR, apartment, extra, and in model. I'm gonna click on structure. I'm gonna click on basically pretty much all the models here. And what we're gonna do is I'm going to control click on them all, and then I'm gonna make sure that they all have generate light map UVs. Now, thankfully, this asset is already set up for this. But typically, yeah, you want to go into here and you click generate light map UVs. This will basically, yeah, this will help for all your lighting stuff as well. After that point, you want to hit apply and you're pretty good to go. So yeah, right. So let's have a look and see what we can do in terms of, let's try to get this thing set up now. So we have our post-processing set up in this world. You can either, as I said, you can either do that through the world toolkit, or this is already set up with this prefab as well. We have our mesh, so the world itself is pretty much laid down. So let's have a look at sort of like the important things. So we also have the collider. So here we have the collider that's pretty much set up as necessary. You can also double check on its you can also double check to make sure that things also have what we call a mesh collider as well. So if you're like, I don't know if everything has collision, basically meaning like, can your avatar walk through or fall through this object? It will typically, normally these things will have like a mesh collider. If not, you can always scroll down, add a component, and then you type in what you want to add in. You type in mesh collider, so mesh, mesh collider, and you click on that one and it'll add a collider to it. But thankfully for this this pack, you don't necessarily need to choose too much with it. So yeah, it has its mesh colliders. It'll also probably have its animations, all kind of stuff ready for you as well, set up. So yeah, let's have a look and see what we can do. Yeah, let's have a look. So now that we have the model imported, let's now have a look at our materials. Materials are now probably the first thing I'm going to get you to change massively, and let's start learning a little bit about this. Let's quickly hop back to our console, make sure we're good. All right, sweet. So in our folder here, I will have downloaded the silence filamented shader. When you download that and extract that, you'll have the filamented master. Simply grab the filamented master and drag that into your assets folder here. Sweet. All right. Here we go. Cool. So we now have silence filamented shader. Now, why are we changing what are we doing with filamented? This is a very special shader because it's low on memory and it's really good for a bunch of things, especially for lighting. It's good for making things look nice. It works with a bunch of materials, PBR materials as well, textures, tileables, and it's really good for modifications, a bunch of effects and stuff like this as well. Something I've used and worked with for a couple of years now, so I do highly recommend it. I'll put a link for all that in the description down below. But anyway, right, we're just gonna simply hop over here and change these to, so what we're gonna do is you're gonna click on, you basically just click on any object here. We're gonna find out where our materials are. I'm gonna right click these and I'm gonna select material. And we now have all of our funky materials here. Cool. Now you'll probably find that most of these are going to be set as like simple or standard or something pretty much along those lines. So let's have scroll down. All right, we got material. All right, sweet. It's gonna be standard as well. All right, I'm gonna assume the majority of these are going to be set as standard. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna click this, and I'm gonna shift click most of these, and I'm gonna change these to silence filamented roughness setup. I'm just gonna probably change a bunch of stuff, and I'm also gonna do this to... Alright, okay. So, what we're doing is we're now encountering our first annoying problem, where essentially changing over the shaders isn't going to be as easy as I thought it was going to be, where normally right click, you change the shader, it pops in the stuff, and it's all... But it's not doing that. Why? Well, let's find out, shall we? So, with MDR, it's using its own shader here, which is which like, I like, okay, interesting. I've never worked with the shader, and I want to teach you how to work with silence, because it's gonna help you, seriously, it's gonna help you a lot. Right. So, we have this, we're gonna click on here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna find out, some information about our material here. If you want to learn about materials, there is a video, boom, somewhere around here. It's somewhere. Anyway, but yeah. What we're gonna do is we're gonna click on material here. Just click on that. Let's see, M speaker here. And I'm gonna click on. And you want to do this typically for the materials that we are doing weird stuff. As you notice when we click here to go to this one, we change the shader. So the shader is like basically a style, and then the material is the paintbrush itself or the paint. So when you change it here, roughness, it goes, it loses everything for some reason. It's really wow. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna click on this. I'm gonna click on this little cube here. And look at this, we got some information here. We got like the albedo, we got this as well. And a bunch of things for speakers and stuff like this. So, alright, cool. Alright, let's go back to our materials. Just quickly go back to them. Alright, so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to click on this, and as I do so, I'm just gonna keep an eye on like what all this is. It basically is 3 textures. It's 1, 2, 3. So it's gonna be this one, this green one, and then this normal map. And then what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go to the silence roughness setup, and then I'm just gonna quickly put that in the albedo. I'm gonna put this in the metallic because that's set to metallic. And then I'm gonna set this to its normal mapping. And boom, it should all be good. Also, for some reason, it's color set to red for some reason, so I'm gonna set it to white. And we should all be good and Gucci. But yeah, and you know what? I'm gonna set this normal map to like 1.2 for reasons. But yeah. So yeah, you want to do this for all the annoying textures which aren't changing for some reason. So, so example, like it's likely to do this for every single like material, which is annoying. I'm sorry. All right. So basically, what you're going to do here from this point is you're going to kind of go through all of these shaders, all these materials, and you want to swap them mostly to silence filamented roughness. And you want to be putting in the Alright, so essentially what we're going to do is we are going to go through all of these materials and we're going to swap these over to silence roughness filamented. as you do so, you'll probably notice that you'll probably keep most of your albedos and your normal maps. These are going to be the your sort of like the color textures, as well as these blue ones. However, you'll lose probably the green ones that are marked here in these materials here, as you change things over. Just basically, as you click on these, drop these into both the metallic and the roughness map here. I believe this is where these are supposed to go in this shader or this material. And you mark these textures as sRGB, or you don't. I forget. I'm gonna have someone in the comments screaming at me, being like, "This is how what you doing, woman?" Whatever. I'll show you how to like make things look delicious, regardless. Come on, listen. The world will look delicious. That's the main point. But yeah, like basically, this is what we're doing. We're fusing layer bricks together. So yeah, just drop it. Basically, just drop the green ones like right in there, and it'll do some weird magic for some odd reason. Anyway. But yeah. Yeah, you can always play around with like texture, like color, all this kind of stuff, and make it all look to basically what your needs are. Anyway, as you go through those, I'm just gonna basically like cut here and sort of skip ahead to where we basically gone ahead and done that. The reason why we're kind of doing this, reason why why we're changing up the materials, is because I want to set this up for a style of lighting that I do, and I also want to set this up for LTCGI, and you can only do that with certain shaders and certain materials. So not everything works straight out of the box. You could just simply make this work and just like put some like images and some posters, and you'd be good. You could send this out the box, not a problem. This world's really well set up. But I want to make this special. We're gonna make this special. We're gonna make this my kind of special. So yeah, let's go for it. Anyway, we'll skip ahead. Anyway, future Lily, go. Up.